Hey everyone, it's Tom here. We are the Noise Brigade. We have basically been on a pretty good clip here, trying to give you guys one episode a week. Once again, though, I am joined by our now recovering co-host, Bob. You all right there?
Yeah, man. Just a little bit of laryngitis and a little bit of some pneumonia, some ear infections. So my dulcet tones are a little bit more subdued than normal.
You've got the Barry White going on. I don't know. This might be a thing that you might have to continue. So keep getting sick.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can see about that. Whatever the ladies like.
Perfect. Okay, so
My name
we're not
Val
gonna
Venus.
talk. What's that?
My name is Val Venus, and it rhymes.
And I almost made the comment. We're not gonna talk any wrestling.
Yeah, well,
So good.
should have known better than that.
Oh, so good. All right, yeah. So we won't even talk about it. Hell in a Cell was last night, and so we're just going to ignore that. But I will say, wrestling aside, very awesome to see a live crowd once again at a big event. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. Uh,
Um,
Without any further ado, let's jump into this one. So I had this idea when I was looking at we did our worst of list and we did our best of list. And so I thought, well, all right, well, what would our desert island list look like? And I came up with this wacky scenario in my head because, that's what goes on
Uh,
in my head.
and I'm going to read through this so people this is kind of prefacing this scenario came up with, and it's quite amazing. So yeah, as you said, did a worst of, we did a best of. But then you sent me this blank document to kind of fill out. I thought this was really cool. So here's the deal: you're stuck on an island in the middle of the ocean. You're going to be trapped there for the rest of your life, no escape, and no way to contact the outside world. However, it's not all bad. This mysterious island you found yourself stranded on has a resort on it, no staff, but it's somehow kept meticulously clean. It has working electricity, water, plumbing, and all the necessary stuff to keep you clean, and somehow food and drinks are abundant and never ending. For this exercise, you'll never get anything worse than a cold, and you'll never need dental work. Any medical issues are taken care of by the resort in your sleep. So, straight off the bat, pretty much a utopian type, you know, start to this. However, this is where it gets interesting. You have five celebrities of your choice on the island with you. But again, you'll never leave the island or have any contact with the outside world. You've also somehow managed to bring five albums, music albums, five movies, five video games, five books, five full runs of TV shows, and you've gained access to one streaming service of your choice as well as one sports league of your choice. Food and drink are available to you, besides clean water and clean and fresh water. You have five foods, five snacks, three sides, three alcoholic drinks, which you've mentioned here can be mixed drinks, and three non-alcoholic drinks. So how does your desert island stay look? So this is a great spin on the best of. I think this is almost like a nice continuation of it. So let's just go back and forth with these. The first one, movies. What do you got for your five movies?
Oh man, see, and here's the thing, and this gets back to our when we were discussing our best of. Uh, you ask on a different day and things could change, but so I'm gonna go though, and I've got some reasoning behind some of the stuff that I'm throwing on here.
Okay.
I'm going Super Troopers. I'm going Talladega Nights. I'm going Goon. I'm going Jackass, and I'm going Grandma's Boy.
Nice, nice. That's a solid list. That is a solid list. So okay, I think we've discussed before, and I know this, and I'm sure that the handful of listeners we have may know your affinity for Goon. I don't think we have to get into that one. Um, but I'm curious though. Talladega Nights. That's an interesting one. Why Talladega Nights?
Talladega Nights could be replaced with Spaceballs, um, but it's one that's I can watch that movie over and over. I mean, it could be so. I'll preface. I'll say, all right. So Spaceballs could take that spot. Um, Step Brothers could take that spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm falling in that general direction. But Talladega Nights I could watch, like I said, over and over again, and I'm gonna laugh at it. And I don't know why. It's just one of those stupid movies that's just hilarious. Anchorman could fill that spot. You know,
Right. Yeah.
there's
No.
any number old school. There's any number.
Yes.
Maybe old school. I probably don't put old school on this list unless it expands to like 20. But Talladega Nights is, I would say, probably the weakest of those five. Um, and again, could be replaced. Today, if I was writing that list today, it probably would have been Spaceballs or like I said, Anchorman. But I'd probably lean more towards Spaceballs. But it's just one of those movies that's just super funny.
Cool. Yeah, no, and you made a great point, and we've talked about this before, doing the best of and even the worst of to a point. Yeah, ask us any other day, maybe around Christmas or a holiday or 5 years from now or 5 years ago. Certainly things are going to change. So we're kind of doing this desert island exercise kind of in a moment in time. We're encapsulating what our feelings are right now. So I think we're just to add more preface and context to what we're doing here.
Right. All right. So what do you got, man?
So okay, so a couple of these are repeats because I've talked about these on best of. So not another teen movie, and again, like you said, over and over again. Euro Trip,
Oh,
Boondock Saints,
okay.
Happy Gilmore,
Oh,
and Ace Ventura, the first one.
okay.
And a reason why I'll say real quickly on Happy. Well, I don't really have to say much about Happy Gilmore, but I saw that in the theater, and the minute that I could get it on pay-per-view, I recorded it to VHS. Yeah, we're old here, people. And I wore the tape out. I watched that movie so many times.
Right.
And Ace Ventura, very similar. Saw it in the theater. And then it was just one of those movies I just wore out over and over again, VHS. So, yeah, just like you said, movies I could watch over and over again, but interchangeable, because I could have easily thrown in Anchorman too.
Right.
I mean, Anchorman as well, not Anchorman 2.
Right. Yeah. Anchorman 2 is not on this list.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, and as you're saying those, that Dumb and Dumber. How did neither of us say Dumb and Dumber?
Oh gosh, yes, exactly. I mean, what movie was quoted more, for almost any movie ever, really?
Right. And interestingly, neither of us mentioned one Kevin Smith movie.
I know, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So
yeah,
it's really, any given day, it could be, something could be on there. Like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back should have been on there probably. But, at the day that I was writing this, I didn't feel like that was the movie that I wanted to take with me. So.
Right. No, yeah, I get it. And like I said, I think anyone sits down to do this exercise, I challenge them to have the same list 5 years from now, 5 years ago. I think that would be say, okay, let's revisit this in a year, and see what happens.
Right.
Okay, so 5 TV shows. What do you got?
All right, so I've got, and see, I fought with myself on this one, and I have reasonings for why things are the way they are here, and it almost ties into my streaming service. So my 5 TV shows are going to be The Office, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Doctor Who, Scrubs, and Letterkenny.
I didn't even think of It's Always Sunny. Oh, that's such a good choice. I almost hate myself now.
So there's notable omissions, and I'll get to them when we get to the streaming service.
That's fair point. Yeah, and I kind of took a similar approach streaming service wise. However, I may have taken a little bit of liberty with it. You'll understand why I said I said when we get to that point. So my 5 are Dark Side of the Ring, mainly because that's basically the only show that I will watch over and over again, and I have like ever since it came out. The Simpsons,
Okay.
NXT,
Okay.
anything that A&E Biography does. I think I can qualify that as its own show because
Yeah.
And this is one you might laugh at me on. The original run of MacGyver.
Dude, I can't think of MacGyver anymore without MacGruber coming into my
Yes.
head. Like they've started to become intertwined. So it's I can't do MacGyver anymore. But I get it. I understand it. I'm behind it. I just, it's one of those things where I can't detangle the two.
Right. No, I grew up with it with dad, huge MacGyver fan. So it was hard for me not to think of that one. Because I almost put like Unsolved Mysteries in there because like the original, like I'm a huge Robert Stack fan.
Yeah.
Mainly because that actually made me think of like Airplane because that almost made my movie list. So like I kind of went down that road like of things I've like really liked over the years, and I finally was like, you know what, I'll settle on MacGyver. I think that's fair enough because I did enjoy watching that a lot, and I honestly haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't know if it would actually hold up for me, but I'd have it in there and make for a good like here's a few drinks, let's watch MacGyver.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right, 5 video games, and I think we can be brief on this because we've done a whole episode on video games to a point, at least with sports video games, and we've talked about some new releases, which kind of led into speaking about some other games. So I think we can kind of be a little more succinct with this one. So, what are your 5 games?
So I did a rewrite on this one as we were leading up to it. Um, but mine are going to be, no surprise, NFL 2K5,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mario, Fire Emblem Three Houses, the first Disgaea, but I want the complete version for Switch, not the PS2 version, and Fortune Street, which I don't know if you're aware of Fortune Street or not, but it's a super fun party game.
Yeah, I wanted to play that with you when we last visited, but we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, no, you're that. None of those surprised me from coming from you anyway, because we've talked about them, and obviously, I know you. But same for me. I don't think any of these 5 are going to surprise you. Maybe one of them. Tekken Super Bowl for the NES.
Okay.
Tetris for the NES. Skyrim, I'll say PS4. Diablo 2 for the PC, and then GTA 5 for PS4. And I only say Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's one of those games that like I can just pick up, and if I just want to run around and be a jerk, then like I can be. It's a good game to like
Yeah.
let out some steam without actually causing felonies.
See, and that's, dude, honestly, if you know what, not to digress from our main point here, but that's kind of how I felt about the original Destiny. And, I thought Destiny 2 kind of screwed up a good thing that Destiny 1 had, where I could just log on to Destiny 1 and kill hours just
Mm-hmm.
going around and doing it. And yeah, I got a little repetitive at some points, but sometimes it was good to just clear your head and just go in and, pop out a couple bounties or whatever. But yeah, dude, I totally get where you're coming from with the with GTA 5 on that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and again, that's an interchangeable to almost any of them. I just went with the newest one.
Right.
All right, so enough of video games. 5 albums. I love the way you have this, though. I want to note this before you talk on this one. 5 albums. However, you have the you have allowed one greatest hits album and one live album. So of the 5, you could potentially have one greatest hits and one live album. So go ahead. What are your 5 albums?
All right. So I've got Queen's Greatest Hits. I've got Live at the Middle East by the Boss Tones. I've got the Blue Album from Weezer. In Your Honor from Foo Fighters, which is a bit of a cheat because it's a 2 disc,
Yeah.
and Swagger by Flogging Molly.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's all solid, all solid. Weezer Blue Album doesn't surprise me. Obviously, neither does the Boss Tones live.
Right.
The Queen greatest hits. I mean, come on. Yeah, I kind of feel bad I didn't pick that for my greatest hits, but no, that's solid all the way through. Did you have anything you wanted to kind of, as you thought about your 5, like, oh man, I really wish I could have included this one, but I had to kind of kick it to the curb.
I mean, the Cars, Real Big Fish, Dropkick, Johnny Cash. Um, hell, you could, we said we're not going to talk about wrestling, but shit, you could throw like the giant collection of Jim Johnson's wrestling
Oh yes.
anthology thing on there that they released back in like the 90s and 2000s. Like, dude, there's so much good music that could have been on there.
Oh
Say Anything. I love Say Anything. I don't know if I'm sure you've heard some of their stuff. Phenomenal band, but Rancid, um, Operation Ivy,
Oh yeah, I could even think of either of those, and I was huge on both back in the day. Man, didn't even stick. I should, yeah. Operation Ivy would be solid in this list, really
yeah,
would be.
Social Distortion. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Social
Oh
Distortion.
yeah, oof, man, yeah, yeah. It's tough, and I think I'll go through mine here, and a couple of these aren't going to be a surprise because I've talked about them before.
Right.
Rocket from the Crypt, Scream, Dracula, Scream, Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory, Metallica, Ride the Lightning. So
Oh,
those are my three like regular albums. Beastie Boys Anthology gets kind of a cheat too because that's a 2 disc as
eh,
well, but
it's all
it's a
good.
greatest hits. um, but then my live album, this would probably be my surprise here, is Our Lady Peace, and they
Oh,
actually just have a live album called It's Live. So, uh, and I find myself listening to that over and over and over again because it's almost spiritual,
okay.
it's very, especially as they get to wrapping up the set, it almost feels like you're at like a church service. It just feels really good. It's really, really speaks to you. So I really enjoy that, and I enjoy their work anyway, but the
Right.
live album just really hits me.
Yeah,
um
they're an underrated band.
yeah, they're one that, and it's funny too because I was really writing this, and I tried some way to sneak him in there, but I've been listening to a ton of POD lately, so it's very
Oh,
possible I could have just slapped one of their albums in there.
yeah, I've been listening to School of Hard Knocks a lot lately because it was
Oh,
on there.
nice.
What another movie that could have made my list, Little Nicky.
Yes, agreed.
Phenomenal soundtrack. You've
Oh,
got
yes.
Muse, you've got Disturbed, you've got yeah, I think System of a Down is on it. You've got um, POD, and I know I'm missing people, but it's a phenomenal soundtrack, and so yeah, I've been dabbling in a little POD as well.
Yeah, it's
I'm I'm a little surprised there's no KMFDM on there.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love the industrial electronic, type stuff. Obviously, I always have, but yeah,
Ooh, some
and
Deftones.
yeah, kind of, yeah, that's another one. And I should have, by all rights, I should have. And they actually recently released the too, which is phenomenal too. Um, and I could have easily thrown in anything from A Perfect Circle, or stuff that I've really gotten fond of over the last few years too. But I didn't. I kind of went with my old guns, because at the end of the day, with me and music, as much as I've listened to everything, there's certain things I'll always go back to. And I think you can speak to that with Dropkick or Flogging Molly, or
Oh yeah, man. Blink 182.
Yep, yep. So, all right, this was a hard one for me. This next one, and I'll be honest with you, it's because I I don't read a lot for pleasure like I used to anymore. Um, and I just, the stuff that I have read, it's to me it wasn't worth the 5 book thing. So I kind of have an interesting list going here. But what are your 5 books?
So I almost cheated. I almost went with comic books. Um,
That would have worked. It's a
but
book.
yeah, but I tried to stay true to what I had written down, and after honestly, I'm with you. After I put 5 books, I'm like, crap, books am I gonna put? Um, but I went over to the bookshelf and I picked 5 books. So I've got Weird New Jersey Volume One, like the collected hardbound book. If you know anything about Weird New Jersey, it's a magazine about weird crap in New Jersey. Well, they put out some books, and they actually started doing. They did a Weird USA. They did weird different states, and it collects all the weird like folklore from the states. So I'm going to go. My first one is Weird New Jersey Volume 1. The second one is The Jersey Devil by James F. McCloy and Ray Miller Jr. And that's the one that I talked about in our cryptozoology episode, not to be confused with our cryptocurrency episode. But that's the one that I had read in elementary school that got me hooked, and which I actually own, not with the same cover, but I did find it with the same cover. I can get it for $10, so I might end up having to order that. And then this, I know you'll appreciate this one. I Ain't an Athlete Lady by John Crunk.
Oh, nice, nice. Good call.
American Gods by Neil Gaiman, which is a phenomenal book. I actually read that on a cruise. I was, I don't like the sun. And so what I would do is I would go after, when the sun went down, I would go up on deck and I would sit up there in the front where it was super windy and no one would bother me because it was too cold for everybody else. I'd sit up there and read. And then the fifth one is a toss-up. It can either be Foley is Good or Have a Nice Day by Mick Foley.
Nice. And it's funny. We actually have some similarities on our list here, which, I don't find that odd or anything, but this was tough. So you said the Mick Foley books, which, yes, I agree. Because I didn't include any wrestling books, and I just want to preface mine saying this was really hard for me not to include either Eric Bischoff's book, Controversy Creates Cash, or Bob Holly's book that he wrote a biography. If you ever have the time, read his book because it's absolutely insane. It's just as crazy as he is. It's legitimately just it's worth your time.
Good
so anyway,
plug.
Yeah. So I did Fahrenheit 451.
Oh, that dude, that was so close to making my list.
Yeah, I read that many years ago, and I've referenced it quite a bit. I think it's very fitting.
Yeah.
So I just like that book a lot. The Andromeda Strain, Michael Crichton.
Okay.
I was really enjoyed that one. And it was funny too because when I looked that one up, I didn't realize it was written in '69. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Wow. Yeah, I remember reading that in I went on a kick in 7th and 8th grade where I was going to read Michael Crichton stuff after Jurassic Park. And
yep, that's exactly how I got my kick into it as well, man. And so same deal. I read it very early on, probably middle school, and same deal. Jurassic Park, then boom, hit that, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Love this book. And so then I picked a professional book, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. It's just a good leadership book. But then here you go, Weird New Jersey, Volume 1. Okay. And then my last one is At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed by Ross Patterson, which is a male romance novel.
Okay. All right.
It's Ross Patterson. We talked about him before. He's in the movie The New Guy.
Yeah.
So he's that does the pool boy stuff. That's him. But he's written now, I think 2 or 3 of these male romance novels, and they're just so over the top. They're supposed to be the smut novel, but for a guy. So okay. You can imagine how filthy it is.
So I did, while we were talking about this, there were two authors that popped to mind that I need to mention that I probably could have used on here. One of them is Charles Bukowski, who I don't know if you've read any of his stuff. It's phenomenal. He's out there, dude. And then the other one completely leapt from my mind as I was listening to you. It jumped to mind while I was listening to you, and then Bukowski jumped into my head and kicked the other author out, and it's pissing me off now, and I can't remember who it was. But that's fine. Let's move on. Let's unless you've got more to. Sorry.
No. All good, man. All good. So with the books we're out of the way, let's go to foods. What are your 5 foods?
All right. So I'm very simple when it comes to my foods. So this is going to be, and this will be no surprise. All right. So steak, chicken parm, stuffed shells, cheese steak, and cheese omelet. Nice. Now, chicken cheesesteak would work there, and obviously there's got to be some spaghetti with the chicken parm.
True. But well, we have 2 of the same 5, and I know you're not much of a seafood person, so
Yeah.
shrimp for me number one, steak number two, pizza. I'd have pizza.
Oh yeah, dude, I struggle with pizza.
Yeah, I had to put it in there because I eat it all the time. Tacos and cheesesteaks.
All right,
So
tacos are a good one. I had to throw a breakfast one on there though.
yeah, I thought about that and I was like, I can eat steak for breakfast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I could eat stuffed shells for breakfast. I could.
There you go. See? So all right. So what about sides for your food though? What do you got there? Three sides.
All right, so I've got cheesy mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and bacon.
Oh, hey, that's a great side. Duh. That's fantastic.
Eh,
So yeah, I've got mac and cheese as my number one. Um, anyone that knows me, I used to blog about mac and cheese in the MySpace days. uh, Baked beans, and then Spanish rice because you have to have Spanish rice with tacos.
okay, okay. All right, I'm with
So I kind of thought the same thing you did, like bacon with breakfast food. So
Oh,
I went
bacon.
that way.
No, dude, bacon goes with everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. True.
Wrap a nice filet mignon with some bacon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right. Five snacks we got.
All right, so dude, I cheated so bad on this one. I cheated so bad. So, all right, so I'm gonna name the things that are like legit. So, nutty bars, soft
Ooh.
pretzels, and then I went so generic that I get kicked off the island for going generic here. I did ice cream, donuts, and cake. Everything else I was super specific, but I couldn't just pick like I didn't want to just be like, oh well, all right, this kind of donut for the rest of my life, or oh, this kind of cake for the rest.
Yeah,
This kind of
and it's funny too because I didn't even go down that road. That's straight to me. It's like other than donut, like ice cream and cake, obviously like straight up dessert. So I didn't even go down that road. I don't know why. I just didn't. I went straight like number one for me, and I went branded on this because like no other cheese curl matches up for me. It's Jack's cheese curls.
Okay,
Then any kind of tortilla chips, and salsa, of course. I have
right,
to have
right.
that together. Cheez-Its, because I could eat those like it's sick.
Oh yeah.
Popcorn.
Okay.
I want to be specific. And Philly soft pretzels. I mean,
Yeah, dude, you gotta have soft pretzels.
Yeah.
You got to.
All right. Next to go with the snacks, though. What do you got?
So you broke up there a little bit. I'm gonna repeat the title there. So three non-alcoholic drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with Blue Powerade, which I think it's called like Mountain Berry or some crap. I don't give a shit. It's Blue Powerade. Coke, regular Coke, no Pepsi here. And then this is where my basic white boy comes out. I need some mocha mint iced coffee from Wawa. Which,
oh man,
listen. So let me say this though too. I never once drank iced coffee. Never. I never even thought about it. I was like, why would you get coffee hot? Why would you get it iced? And then one of the officers brought some up for us, and I was dying on shift. Like I had not slept. I was feeling like crap, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to drink this coffee because I need some kind of caffeine to keep me awake. And they're like, all right, well, what kind do you want? Well, give me the mint one, man. That sounds good enough. Mint's good. And I sucked that drink down so quick. And then like for 5 days straight, I was going to Wawa and getting this mocha mint iced coffee.
nice.
And dude, I'm basic. I don't give a crap. I like it.
Yeah, and that makes me think too because I should have by all rights put in French vanilla cappuccino from Wawa, but I didn't. Coke as well, Gatorade, and I don't have a specific flavor because I can drink just about all of them.
Okay.
And then if I'm going to be stuck on a desert island, I'm bringing something back that doesn't exist anymore.
Sir?
Snapple Fire.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. You know what? You know what we should have done too? We should make the Coke instead of it just being just bottled Coke. It should be some kind of weird pipeline straight from McDonald's.
Oh yes, yeah. They've got that ridiculous syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So McDonald's Coke, it's not just Coke. It's we're getting it from the
Yes,
clown.
yes. No, I agree.
And
So, oh yeah, 100%.
yeah, and then I don't know. I might have if we do that though. I might have to get rid of the blue Powerade and get them to pump in some orange lava burst high C too, because they
Ooh,
just got that back. Which I don't know if you know about that orange lava burst, but that's my jam.
that's the stuff right there. It is good. I will say that it is good.
Which hey, did you know you can't buy it in jugs?
No, I never looked for it. Honestly, that's crazy.
Remember when we were kids and you used to be able like your parents would get like the cans of high C, you'd have to
Yeah.
pop and stuff. Yeah, guess what? You can't get it anymore. You can
I
only get them as
get
the freaking little
full
juice box.
cartons.
Yeah,
Oh, oh man.
so
Huh.
lame.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
made me sad the other day when I went. I went to Publix and went to go get some and ended up walking out sad. But I had like 8 bags of freeze pops under my arm, so you know that kind of cushioned the blow a little bit.
There you go. There you go. All right. Three alcoholic drinks. What do you got?
Man, so I'm looking at this and I should have put Guinness on here, but I'm gonna go with the three. I'm gonna go with the three I have on here. I've got Yingling, I've got Jack and Ginger, and I've got Long Island iced tea.
That's nothing wrong with a good LIT. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong at all. Um, I cheated because I went generic because I don't have a clue. I just put beer. Because from
yeah.
look, it's impossible for me to say one way or the other. But if I had to pick and stick with one, it'd be England. I mean, there'd be no other way there. Bourbon, nothing particular there. But I have Coke, I have bourbon. I'm good.
Yeah,
But of course, if I have Snapple Fire, I have to have some kamikaze. So,
exactly. Exactly.
so all right. We're down to a couple here.
Yeah.
We're going to get out of the food and drink area. One streaming service. What do you have?
So I wanna preface this one with I almost went back and changed all the rules and made it so it was 3 movies and 3 TV shows, and then we could have 2 streaming services. But I decided that that was cutting us too much slack for this horrible desert island we're on. Which I guess it's probably not really even a desert island. We're in a friggin' resort, so whatever. Um, but I picked Disney Plus, and I have a very good reasoning behind it. Um, and I almost went Peacock. Almost went Peacock because I wanted to have because then I would have had wrestling and I would have had The Office. But I went Disney Plus, and here's why: every episode of The Simpsons,
Yes, true,
another
true.
every single Marvel movie, all of the Star Wars movies, and then all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe TV shows, plus any Disney movies that happen to come out. And eventually, I gotta figure they're gonna get Futurama on there, maybe with the Fox stuff. They might. I don't know because they own Hulu too, so
Right.
I don't know how that if they might just leave some of the aside from the Simpsons, they might leave the rest of the Fox stuff on Hulu. Um, but if Hulu were to go down, if they were to divest from Hulu and then just put everything on Disney Plus, then they could have Futurama, Bob's Burgers. I can't imagine a day when Family Guy would ever come to Disney Plus, but they would have that too. Like
Right.
so Disney Plus. I'm hedging my bets. I've got the other movie that I took off of my 5 originally was on there was Thor Ragnarok. Um, but we've got Thor Ragnarok and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So
Yeah, yeah. That's a solid call, and it's funny. I didn't think of it that way, but if I would have picked Disney Plus had I picked that service. That would probably be my solid number two. I went in a completely different direction on streaming service. I picked YouTube.
dude, I was just gonna say that. I was say, did you pick YouTube?
And the only reason why is because I utilize YouTube like when you have the YouTube Music service, you get the premium thrown in there. So you basically get YouTube with no ads,
Okay.
just for having the music service. And you would think that that's like not that big of a deal, but it really is that big of a deal. So
Oh yeah, dude. I can't tell you how. Like I'll be sitting there, I'll be watching a video, and then it's just about to hit a salient point, and then boom, I'm seeing an ad for Hyundai, and I'm like, come on, really, man? Right there, that's where the ad goes. But it makes sense.
but yeah, I went that way mainly because YouTube is just it's full of music. There are movies out there. There's all sorts of content out there. You know, it just it's one of those things where if I could maybe bend it a little bit. YouTube has YouTube TV. There's so many different little avenues with YouTube that you could take with it. But I would mainly have it more for the music than anything else. Just because I'd find myself just sitting on the beach, drinking nothing but beer and listening to music all day long.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, and that's where if we're gonna, I mean, if we're gonna bend, we can bend, and then I'll get the Disney Plus bundle and get Hulu and ESPN.
yeah, there you go. That's true. There you go. That's a good point.
So
All right, we got one more question
we
here,
got
though.
two. We got two. I forgot
Two more questions. I'm sorry. Yeah,
because
yeah. Let's do that one. Yep.
I forgot to put the sports league on there.
Sports league. That's right. That's right. Sports league. I'm sorry. Sports league. So what do you got on that one?
Dude, this is probably the hardest one to pick, and that's probably why I subconsciously left it off of here. Obviously you go with something like MLB or NHL, and you've got with MLB, you got 162 games for whatever team you root for. NHL, you got 82. NFL, which is what I would be, I'm leaning NH or NFL, but I'm only getting 17 games at least 17 games, not including preseason, because preseason doesn't count anyway. I don't know, man. It's so tough. It's really hard. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna hate myself for it, but I'm gonna go NFL.
I can't disagree with that, mainly because NFL games, and I don't care if you're, we're Eagles fans, or I don't really care if you're a fan of any other team.
Except for Dallas.
Well, yeah. But like games are generally watchable no matter what. Even Cleveland has been watchable lately.
Yeah.
Which is really saying something. But I find myself down where I live. I get at best maybe 4 Eagles games a year, legitimately. I'll say, because I don't have like the Sunday ticket and all that crap. But any game I turn on, I get to watch all the Bears, a lot of Colts, a lot of Saints. Anything's always been generally entertaining. I would be remiss if I didn't say the MLB, just because I'm such a Phillies fan that really be hard for me not to pick that. But I'm going to have to concur with you on the NFL, and only for sake of I'm not discounting my Phillies fandom here whatsoever. It's just that I think, you do get the 162 games, but I think there's a good counter argument for that as well, because it is 162 games.
Right.
And, for the sheer excitement factor, I'll agree with you on that. NFL for me as well.
All right. So then that brings us to our final question here. And we went with your 5 celebrities.
All right. So do you want to go, or do you want me to go on this one?
I'm going to let you go on this one first.
All right. 5 celebrities. A couple of these I've talked about before. Heather Graham, Zooey Deschanel, Elizabeth Banks, Chris Pontius, and Tony Danza.
So I can only assume that Tony Danza is there for his mule.
He's only there. He's there for he's the punchline. You got to have a punchline there.
Who's the boss, bitch?
Who's the boss? Yeah, gotta have Danza there. And it was funny too because I almost left off like a complete blank spot on my music albums, and I just wanted Party Boy on repeat, and that's where Pontius would come in.
So, all right. So I think we did similar here. We made it three boys and three girls, if you will. Um, but man, mine was pretty torn. So I had for the dudes, I tried to pick dudes that I felt like I would get along with, but who weren't like super good looking. So, so that because let's face it, all right, man, we're on these desert islands now. You're never making it back. There's certain things that are going to come up, and you're going to want to take care of those things. So I didn't want competition. Uh, so I initially had Paul Rudd and Johnny Knoxville on here, but they're both way too good looking. They'd beat me in any category there. So I took them off. Because Paul Rudd's probably a vampire anyway. He does not age.
Yeah, no, I don't think he does at all. That's a good point.
So I went with people I felt like I would get along with, but also who wouldn't be able to be like, oh, hey, look at my rippling muscles in the sunlight. So I went with Seth Rogen.
Okay.
Because also Seth Rogen's probably going to have, if we're stuck on a desert island with nothing else to do but drink and do whatever, he's going to have some good pharmaceuticals with him. Same with, or not pharmaceuticals, but some good mind-altering substances, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Jack Black.
Okay.
Because also he's hilarious and can sing and whatever. And then I picked three women that, I tried to find people that I felt like were pretty cool and also maybe played video games. And I know Olivia Munn, for one, does. So Olivia Munn, Jennifer Lawrence, and Kat Dennings.
Nice.
So
very good. No Tony Danza for you?
No Tony Danza. I thought about Gritty, but I don't know, man. He might start to smell after a while.
That's funny because I thought about the Philly Fanatic too.
Which is all kinds of weird stuff about us because I was going to replace one of the females with him.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I mean,
that's so good.
Hey, the Fanatic, the Fanatic's got that nose cone thing.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
We're horrible people.
This was good. No, this was fun just kind of putting together and really just kind of thinking about different movies and just different things. I think this would be an exercise we need to revisit in a year or so just to kind of see, hey, what's changed, just to kind of go off that. But no, this was fun, and you need to rest your voice. But you got anything else before we sign this one off?
No, I think that's about all I got. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook. If you're listening, we appreciate it. And I think I need to go rest this voice. I'm on call tomorrow night, and I'm back to work again on. I don't even know what day it is. I've lost track of days being off of work.
Yeah, it's Monday. It's Monday right now. So
okay, so back to work Wednesday. So I'm Wednesday, Thursday, and then I get 3 more days to rest my voice. So
yeah, go do that, and we will see you guys on the next one.
All right, we have been the Noise Brigade. Keep bringing the noise. Join the brigade, and we'll see you next time.